My name's Janice Hadlow. I'm the author of the novel The Other Bennet Sister, which imagines an alternative life for Mary Bennet after the end of Pride and Prejudice.
I'm Mary Guyatt. I'm director of Jane Austen House Museum, and this is the house where Jane Austen lived for the last 8 years of her life and where she wrote Pride and Prejudice. Jane Austen came to this house. You visited here before, haven't
I've been
you?
here twice before.
Wonderful.
Great fan.
Excellent. Yes, Jane Austen came to live in this house in 1809 when she was in her 30s, and it was in the house that she picked up her early manuscripts, began to revise those for publication, and went on to write the other remaining novels from scratch.
And you do get an astonishingly powerful feeling of her presence here, I think.
You do.
That feeling that you understand very much the circumstances that produce those books.
Yes, absolutely. Although many people call it a cottage, but I think of it as a sort of very comfortable village house, but it's not big. And you think of all the people in the household, visitors and nieces and nephews coming, they would have had that sort of reduced arrangements and reduced accommodation that you see in some of those novels. One of the things that she enjoyed most about the house was her sewing. So we've got a number of items in the collection that she made, and a very stunning quilt, which is not only interesting because it was made by Jane Austen and her family, but also because it is just in design terms quite incredible.
And that's often we're encouraged to think that those two things, an interest in the domestic and her life as a novelist, might be in competition with one another, and yet that's not the case at all, is it?
No, there are parallels, in fact. If you look at the quilt and how it's been planned out, how in a way concise it is, and how well designed and well structured, there's definitely a parallel with her writing.
She's probably never been more popular, I suspect, than she's been in the last 30 years.
I think so. It's quite staggering. And we as an organisation, of course, we were created really by Janeites, and those were our earlier visitors and our core, but we are as welcoming to those who come to Jane Austen through the adaptations, the continuations.
Do you think that was the very famous, I think it's 1995 classic adaptation of Pride and Prejudice? I mean, do you think that was that a turning point, do you think, in sort of cementing her fame?
I think so. When you just look at the merchandise, and Jane Austen is an industry as well, and if you look at the merchandise, the number of iterations of Colin Firth on mugs and wrapping paper, that's still going.
Is that really
all
still
that time? Over a number of years we've had real peaks in visitors, and 1995 was one of those peak years, and the floorboards needed strengthening. I think there were over 50,000 visitors.
Do you get the impression from the people who visit here that Pride and Prejudice is their favourite book?
We know that from our shop sales.
Right.
Yes, it outsells the other novels by far.
Right.
Yes. Whether you think about quotations or whether you're thinking about the hard copy books.
It's a perfect love story for a certain kind of reader, isn't it? She's Elizabeth Bennet is the heroine we'd all like to be, and Mr Darcy is the perfect hero for a certain kind of woman, I suppose.